And finally, our fourth theme is alternative investments, and we think a brighter future ahead. As we look at returns from last year on this first chart, we'll see private equity was really the only asset class that did well last year and the only alternative asset class. And by the way, why is that? Because private equity doesn't mark their portfolio minute by minute, second by second every day. When we look at all of the other alternative investments, whether they're hedge funds or fund of funds, long short funds, REITs, commodities, everything was down last year. Everything was impacted by this pool of liquidity in the market and this general fear. And so as we look forward and we look at next year and we see this kind of across the board damage, again, in an economy that tends to be doing well, our view of this is I don't think that repeats for a second year. This next chart shows that if you look at hedge funds over time, hedge funds have not had back-to-back negative years. And so we had a tough year for hedge funds last year. There really isn't a reason for this hedge fund market to have its first back-to-back down year. And so, again, fundamentals set up well for that. From a commodity standpoint, as we look at the returns on commodities, this, as we talked earlier, the economy itself is getting, this expansion is getting long, and while we think there's still some room, there will be a recession out in the future at some point. And so looking at commodities, 18 months, 12 months, 6 months prior to a recession, commodities tend to perform well just before the recession. They are a late cycle asset, and so that asset class looks interesting. And finally, to the point of private equity, this next chart shows returns on private equity, both in their actual returns and then the returns relative to the market. So the blue bars are private equity annual returns minus the market. Therefore, every time the bar is above zero, that means private equity outperforms. Every time it's below, it underperforms. The diamonds are the actual return of the private equity. So as we'll see, since 1987, private equity as a group has only had 3 down years. Now that doesn't mean one segment of private equity does poorly versus another, but the market as a whole, only 3 down years. And in fact, if you look at the blue bars, private equity frequently is above public equity in terms of rate of return. So there's a lot of money in private equity right now. This is a market where you have to be smart. You have to pick the right investment. We're never going to just throw money at where the masses are going. This is even more so the case in the private markets than the public. We have to go where capital is scarce and put our money in opportunistic investing and not chase the herd. It's no different in the private world than it is in the public. The opportunity here is significant, but we still have to do our due diligence. So those are our themes for 2019. We realized that the end of 2018 was a bit disconcerting. We realized that the press and the headlines, whether it's tariffs or political strife, government shutdowns, all these different reasons to be pessimistic. Our message to you is to stay the course. As we always say, take a deep breath, be calm, and ask the question, what's really driving the market? In our view, it's interest rates. In our view, it's the Fed. In our view, it's forward growth of earnings. We are going to try to just mitigate the impact of the noise in the market. I've never heard the volume so loud. And therefore, it's never been more important for us to stay laser focused on what actually drives the market. We're going to continue to do that every day. We do see opportunity in the market. The themes for this year are where our thinking is. And if you have any questions about any of the material in this, or have any concerns about what you've seen in the fourth quarter or going forward, as always, we encourage you, please pick up the phone, give us a call. We're here. We're happy to answer those questions. So with that said, happy 2019. We're looking forward to a great year, and we look forward to seeing you or speaking with you in the very near future. Thank you.